Hello, welcome to the PurePC Patch Talk. I'm Slayster from PurePC Gaming,
And I'm 9-5 from PurePC Gaming.
and we're here to talk about the latest patch with the release of Brand. But before we get into the patch, I'd like to thank our sponsor, PurePC Online, delivering great gaming computers at the lowest prices. And if you go to the description in this video, you'll find a link to the PurePC website, and you'll also find a link to their Facebook where they have constant giveaways. All you have to do is like the page and then just watch. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into our patch talk. With this latest patch, the biggest thing on everyone's mind is the release of Brand. I have actually gotten to play him, after everyone tries to get him. I've had people try to troll me out of getting him by Revive Rally Heimerdinger. But anyways, I've played him, and one word to describe him: strong. He has a lot of really good AoE damage combined with a nice stun, and that Ablaze thing is basically like a free Madred's Blood Razor for a caster. What do you think, Nine?
I have to agree with you. I haven't had the privilege to play him, but I've seen him in game, and he's not underpowered or overpowered. He's a very strong caster.
Yeah, I've actually been noticing the forums lately, and a lot of people have been saying that they think Brand is overpowered just from the games they play with him. But I always think it's unfair to call a champion overpowered the first day it comes out, because people are still trying to figure out how to counter him. In order to counter him, I mean, you should really just play against him like he's any other caster, focus him first and stun him, and he really can't do much.
I agree. This is like when Nocturne came out. Everyone was saying he was OP, but if you just play as a team and focus him and just wear him down, he won't be that much of a problem.
Yeah, speaking about Nocturne, the nerfs that have actually come to Nocturne have been pretty significant this patch. They've reduced the damage bonus he gets on top of his on top of the little trail he leaves, his Duskbringer. They reduced the cast range of his Unspeakable Horror, his Fear, for those who don't know what that is. And they actually finally have fixed a bug where you could get as far away from him as possible, but the Fear would usually still stay on. Like, for instance, I was playing a Tristana game earlier, and this Nocturne comes to gank me, so naturally I ult him to get away to break his Fear. He's at the very edge of my ult. I ult him, he gets pushed back so far, the chain is still there, I get feared and died. Well, that was yesterday, and I'm actually really glad they're fixing that bug. That really annoyed me. And they also reduced the range of his Paranoia. Now, this I can really agree with, but I also kind of disagree with it. I agree with it in a 3 situation. I really do, because Nocturne's ult could get him literally half from about the middle of the map in 3s, about anywhere on the map. This range nerf will allow him to actually, disallow him to go anywhere on the map. But in a 5 situation, he really does need that range in order to get somewhere on such a huge map. And with the release of Magma Chamber coming in a few months, it's basically going to make his ult useless on that map too.
I have to agree with that. He really does need that range in the 5s map. And although not too many people play the 3v3 map, the nerf was needed for the 3v3 map because he could just get anywhere he wanted. And the bug with his Fear, I'm really happy that they fixed it, because every time I flashed away, and I would think that I would have been safe, but I always just got feared and they just came down on me and killed me.
Yeah, I know that happens to me all too many times. Anyways, moving on. I noticed that Lee Sin received a nerf, and this, I just cannot disagree with it more. Lee Sin himself is a very weak champion. He's not as strong as he needs to be for what he does. His ult is basically a ranged Tristana ult that doesn't go as far. He's overall, I don't think he's that great of a champion. I think Riot rushed him out because the community had been demanding Lee Sin, and now that he's finally out, they really don't know what to do with him. Lee Sin received a hotfix buff about the 2 days after he was released, and this is reverting him to about the same he was before the hotfix buff, and maybe even a little weaker than when he originally started. This is something I really can't get behind the reasoning for Riot doing this, seeing as how Lee Sin, really is not that strong of a champion. I noticed that they said they increased the general missile usability, because I didn't notice that missile is a pretty hard thing to land. I mean, I guess what their reasoning behind the whole thing is, if his missile's easier to land and he can catch up to someone, he doesn't need to be able to do that and have such high damage easily. So, I can see where Riot's coming from, although I completely do not disagree with it. I mean, I completely do disagree with it, I'm sorry.
Well, after the April 5th hotfix, I guess he was a bit better, but he wasn't that much better that he deserved these nerfs.
I totally agree. A couple other nerfs that people might have noticed. One was Scion, that his stun duration has been reduced by 0.5. Another thing, which will be bad for me and Nine, because he plays Renekton during our LAN tournaments. Renekton just received a nerf, and I mean everyone knows, everyone knew Renekton was strong, but the nerf doesn't seem too necessary with the upcoming changes to tanky DPS that they say they're going to do. I mean, they had said that they're going to reduce the damage very much so and increase the scaling by a lot, but if you look at the Slice and Dice, they did reduce the base damage on it only by 15, and they increased the scaling by 0.3. Honestly, if they're gonna go out and do this change that they're talking about doing, they needed to significantly reduce the Slice and Dice damage and significantly increase the ratio. A 0.3 difference is a 30% increase on ratio, which will end up doing a little more, but overall, I really would have preferred the Slice and Dice base damage, because one thing that's really great about Renekton is once he gets 6, he can really just run around in boots and do good damage. I really know that's what Riot's trying to fix, tanky DPS just running around in low items and doing good damage. But what this is going to do, it's going to completely change how tanky DPS play. Because if you take away that ability to do good damage off of their base damage, you're really hurting tanky DPS's early game, and you're going to get other people more fed off of them. And the other thing that you're going to do is tanky DPS such as Renekton, you have the option to build them full tank, and that's what some people do because they still have a good amount of damage, but they're building full tank. With this new change, it's going to really reduce the damage of those who are playing full tank, and I really don't know what to think about this. Bad if you're good if you're a frequent player against champions like Renekton, but it's a really bad change for you if you're someone who plays like a full tank Renekton. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't see it as that big of a hit because for Slice and Dice at level 5, its damage was only decreased by 15, but the ratio was increased by 0.3. That'll probably make some people change the builds around and build a little more attack damage because I guess people will usually just build them tanky and just run around with his ult and Sunfire Cape and just kill people just by being there. Also, the Cold the Meek nerfs, which is his Q, they reduced the healing from it. That will hurt his laning phase a little, but it didn't weaken the damage at all, so he'll still be really strong.
Yeah. Another nerf. It's not that big of a deal. It's only changing ranks 2 and 3 of ranks 1 and 2 of Shen's ult, but not his third rank. Is they are actually reducing the strength of Shen's ult shield. This I can completely be behind. A 300 damage shield at level 6 is usually around 30% of people's health. It was allowing way too many people to tower dive with low risk, and it was allowing Shen to stop too many early game kills. I completely agree with it. They still keep the shield at 750 at rank 3, which is good, but the early game usability of the shield was way too overpowered in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just by Shen ulting you when you're low HP, you're pretty much safe. And I agree with them keeping the 750 at rank 3 because you could still get melted down pretty fast with 750. Yeah.
Anyways, something that frequent LoL players have been praying for, at least I hope you have, because I do it every night. Teemo nerfs are here. You don't know how excited I was when I read this. So they're increasing the cooldown on his mushrooms. So now when you walk in the enemy jungle every 3 feet, you don't die when they have an AP Teemo. Um, they reduce the base damage at rank 1 by 50, at rank 2 by 75, and at rank 3 by 100. So that's going to do a lot. That's going to really hurt those who play attack speed or attack damage Teemo, because it's going to really prohibit your mushrooms from doing the damage they used to unless you're building AP. Um, and they did reduce or increase the active on his move quick by around 9 seconds, which is going to hurt Teemo a lot for split pushing. He will be able to just go one lane, immediately go to the other, and then 2 lanes will be pushed almost fully. And it's actually a really good thing in my opinion. I completely support Riot. I don't think Teemo should be a champion, and I'm really happy that they did this. Anyways, what do you think, Nine?
I feel that the mushroom nerfs were needed because you could just not build AP and it would still do a lot of damage. And the move quick cooldown being increased was needed because it was like having a free ghost every 13 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still kind of, it's alright now since it's like a free ghost every 22 seconds, but it's better than before. And also, Freak, I believe, or someone in the patch preview said that Wriggle's Lantern was a very common item for Teemo players. So I guess that's an indirect nerf to Teemo as well.
Yeah. Anyways, a couple more things before we go. You might have noticed that Spell Vamp on Hextech Revolver, Gunblade, and Will of the Ancients has been increased, so that's going to be really good for casters. BF Sword did take a damage nerf, although the gold cost decreased to make it about the same gold cost as a needlessly large rod, which was really good. Oh, the last thing I want to talk about before we go, I guess Riot kind of, maybe has Alzheimer's within the company and forgot they already nerfed Xin Zhao. Well, they did it again. Battlecry's duration's been reduced by 2, Crescent Sweep's duration reduced by 2, but the Audacious Charge cooldown has been reduced by 2 nerfed early, reduced early, but increased late. So, take that as you will. I think they were pretty late to the party about nerfing Xin Zhao since they kind of did it when he could go get pentakills. I miss that Xin Zhao.
I feel that those nerfs weren't really needed because he was like he wasn't overpowered. He wasn't underpowered either. He was pretty balanced. I don't know why they nerfed him.
Yeah, I don't know either.
He wasn't like other tanky DPSs where you could just build tank items and still do a lot of damage. If you built tank items on him, he wouldn't be able to do that much damage. If you build damage items on him, he wouldn't be that tanky as other tanky DPSs.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's it for the patch talks. Please check the description for links to those PurePC giveaways and the PurePC online website if you maybe want to get a computer from there. This has been Slayster in 9.5, and thank you for tuning into this patch talk.